Hello, and I am Lisa Stratton. Welcome to my Talk to Me series of interviews. Today we are talking with a director, dramaturge, and a actor. We are talking with Tom McGee.
Hello.
Who is a puppeteer. So Tom, how did you get interested in theater?
Well, when I was a kid, I used to play with a lot of my friends. We'd be superheroes, or we'd, watch our favorite TV show. It'd be the Ninja Turtles or the Ghostbusters. And what I realized as I grew up was, as all my friends stopped wanting to pretend to be these characters, I still wanted to. So I started thinking about the kinds of things I could do where I could still pretend to be something. And the obvious decision was acting.
So how did you get involved with puppeteering then?
So I got involved with puppeteering and my company Shakey-Shake and Friends, which, as you know, is a Muppet Shakespeare company, when my partner Megan and I were in New York, and we were at an FAO Schwartz toy store, and they had a big sign that said "Build Your Own Muppet," and we got really excited about the idea of being able to build our own Muppet. And so the two of us went to work building, and we ended up building Megan's pal Zip and my buddy Shakey-Shake. So these guys were the first two puppets we built, and the problem was suddenly we'd spent $300 on puppets. So we had to justify the expenditure, and as a result we decided to start a theater company, particularly because we realized that this guy looked a lot like Shakespeare, and we realized we could tell Shakespeare stories with him. So with the Shakey-Shake stories, what we try to do is to tell kids the story of Shakespeare and the story of Shakespeare's characters and plays before they have to study it in school. Because what I found in school, and what a lot of my friends found, is it's very hard to fall in love with those stories and those characters when you have to study them and write reports about them and analyze them. So we wanted to come in and have a fun, lively version of Shakespeare stories. And we were thinking about TV, we were thinking about all these things, but first we wanted to make sure that it was good. And it's been 6 years now, and we've had a really, really good response, and so now we're starting to look towards TV.
And what was it about Shakespeare that you're interested in working with the stories?
Well, the first thing was that the puppet, Megan's puppet Zip was very much just, it's basically her inner child. Like, Zip is very much Megan's sort of like inner self. And she'd done a lot of classes at school about that sort of thing, so doing clown work and that sort of thing, and this is basically Megan's clown. For me, I've never done any clown work, so when I was building my puppet, I didn't have a big secret interest in building. I didn't have sort of a character in my heart that I wanted to build. But I noticed this smoking jacket, and I realized I would never find this in puppet size again. So once I put the jacket on, I realized I could make kind of a funny butler character, and then once I finished, I realized he looked like Shakespeare. So really, it was because of the puppet that we started working in Shakespeare.
A lot of people have heard that you had won for Kids Fringe, and people wanted to know what was it about the news that you had heard.
Well, it's a tremendous honor, and it's very exciting to be told that you're going to be in Best of Fringe. But it's also it can be very nerve-wracking because we were lucky enough to do Best of Fringe with Hamlet last year, and then as the writer, producer, and actor in Twelfth Night, you really want to make sure, particularly as the writer and the producer, I really wanted to make sure that I was delivering the best possible thing for my actors, and we all were really nervous about whether or not we'd get it this year, and we did, which was great. But it does add an extra layer of stress, particularly if you've done it one year, you really want to do it again.
So which other puppets have you guys got to work with?
So this guy, this is my buddy Paris. This is the original puppet. This is the first puppet I built. So he's kind of fun, and he was supposed to be a very goofy
And how you work the puppets?
Yeah, so this guy is what's known as a glove puppet. So his arm is a glove that you actually put your hand in. There we go. So the fun thing about having a glove is you can use your actual human hand to help animate the puppet. So this guy was supposed to be a really kind of wacky, silly, goofy puppet. And he was the first one I built, and I built him out of a bunch of stuff I bought at the dollar store. And inside, which you can't really see because I didn't build a flap into him, he is just a mess of duct tape and glue and foam. So this was the first one I built, and then we started building our own. So after Paris, we decided that we needed a villain, so I built my pal Christopher Marlowe here. So Marlowe is also a glove puppet, and he's usually played by a gentleman named Jeff Dingle. And as you can see, I got a little bit better at it. I was in Vancouver doing a Fringe festival there, and there was a troupe that was doing puppet building. So I learned a bit of puppet building from them. then came back and explored. So as you can see, he's got a bit more of the Muppety look. He looks a little bit more like the other puppets, and he's held up a lot better. This puppet's about 5 years old. But as you can see, the hand gives a lot of options, because you can do things with your human hand that you can't necessarily do with a puppet hand. But now we have a new guy on our team named Graham, and Graham is now building our puppets, and Graham is my favorite puppet builder, and he's taught me all sorts of stuff. So this is the new Zip. So in 12th Night, we meet Zip's twin sister Zap, and as a result we needed 2 Zip puppets, but we couldn't build another one professionally. So Graham came in and built this guy as the new version of Zip. So now we kind of have 2 different versions, and gradually we're going to shift all of our puppets over into this style. But we have all sorts of characters, and generally the reason new characters pop up in a Shakey-Shake show is that there's a need with the Shakespeare script. So in 12th Night we needed twins, so we had to build a new puppet. So usually that's when you see a new puppet pop up in our shows.
Make it talk. So what were your strengths and some of the highlights that you'd have for memories?
One of the ones that strikes me as the biggest, probably for Shakey-Shake, was there's a little girl named Jenny. And Jenny has sort of become our #1 fan, and it always blows me away how amazing this kid is. But anyway, she came to a show, and basically the first year when she came and saw Romeo and Juliet, she brought a Shakespeare action figure with her. And we're like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then the next year she memorized a monologue. And then the next year she brought a puppet. And then now she's doing puppets and monologues. And she's absolutely great at both of them. And what really struck me is when Megan and I bought these puppets, we weren't thinking about, oh yeah, like we're gonna have a huge impact on someone's life. We're just like, oh cool, we want puppets. But now there's this little girl who I'm pretty sure is gonna put me out of business one day because she's so good. Who's learning Shakespeare and doing puppeteering because she saw our shows, and that blows my mind.
Which type of advice as an actor would you give to others who want to become what you have become?
I think the most important thing is to create opportunities for yourself, and that I know not everyone's a playwright, and I know not everyone's a director, but if there's a script you want to do, if there's I've heard a number of actors say, oh, if only someone would do this play, I could get my big break. Well, go do it. Just go do it. And it's going to cost you a ton of money. But if that's the thing that you are convinced will make your career, it's up to you to make it happen. Because otherwise you're just going to be sitting around waiting for someone else to do it for you. And that sucks. It's soul draining. It's exhausting. So make your own opportunities and have fun. If, try an improv class, try a clown class, try whatever classes you need. Don't get stuck in the sort of infinite school spiral of just taking classes and not working. But try something outside your comfort zone. And for puppeteering, the easiest way is to just find a puppet, even if it's a sock puppet, and just give it a try. There are so many YouTube videos that explain how to puppeteer. And it's so easy to pick up and so easy to start. And your friends will think it's hilarious.
Well, I guess we're going to have to just wrap it up right there. And I'd like to thank you very much for watching the interview. And we are so excited for Tom McGee to be with us today. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Lisa.
And we will take that as a wrap. So thank you so much and so long.